His name was Chief Mezuo Pericoma Okoye, known as Arụsị Makaja, one of Igbo land. He was a very popular and powerful juju priest and also a musician, and also headed a traditional dance group in Arondizzuogo. Now, Pericoma became famous when the story of how he dealt with Opiweka tax collectors in Anambra circulated all over the country. Another interesting fact is that Pericoma is Speed Darlington's father. Now, Speed Darlington, fondly called Speedy or Speedometer, shared photographs of his father on Instagram with he and his brother sitting next to him. Now, if you go to any family in Igbo land, there's always going to be someone who's going to tell you that yes, they know this man or they've heard about him. Now, a movie was made of Pericoma titled Lion of Africa, which claimed that he once vanished as a child and reappeared as a teenager with supernatural powers. That's interesting. Now, he was also the Prime Minister of Arondizzuogo community in Imo State. A traditional musician by the name Oluchi Chukwuezele also sang about this story I'm about to tell you. So here's how the story of Pericoma and the tax, meaning tax collectors, went. So one morning, he arrived at Upper Iweka. Now, Upper Iweka is a popular location in Anambra State. It's like a departure point from Onitsha to other parts of the country. There are lots of buses, smaller, luxurious buses heading in different parts of the country. Now, it's also a terrifying place to be. There are pickpockets, money doublers, kidnappers, dogs. In Upper Iweka, anything is possible. So, Pericoma alighted at Upper Iweka. Now, the story goes that he was on his way back from Lagos. We don't know what took him to Upper Iweka, or perhaps he just wanted to stop by and get some things for his family. So he stopped by Upper Iweka and wanted to go get a bus going to Imo State, his hometown. So no one could identify him by just looking at him. He was just a gentleman minding his business, going about his day. So Pericoma was walking when these two thugs appeared from nowhere, caught him off, and asked him, "Hey, where are you going to? Who are you? And what's in your bag?" And he told them that he was headed to the bus station. And they looked at him and said, "Have you paid your tax?" He's like, "What do you mean? I'm not owing any tax. I'm not from this town. I'm just minding my business." They said, "No. When you're in this town, you have to pay tax. Everyone pays tax in this place. Now show me your bag and let me see what you have in there." So they started searching his bag. They searched him, took some money that he had on him, took whatever that he had in his bag, and they told him it was not enough, that he must go to the office and explain to their boss who he is and why he cannot afford to pay his tax. So they had a little bit of an argument. They argued back and forth. Pericoma resisted. They insisted that he must come with them. So Pericoma refused. They hijacked him. So you have one man holding him on one side and the other one holding him on the other, and he was in the middle. So they carried him from wherever he was standing at that moment all the way to their office. Right before they got there, their boss already sighted them coming with this man. I mean, it's unusual. It's one thing to ask for tax and it's another thing to carry a grown man. So their boss came out and looked at them and was like, "What the hell is going on? Put this man down." And they were like, "Sir, we found him on the road. We asked him to pay tax and he refused. So we had to bring him here so that he can explain to you why he could not pay his tax." The man was like, "Well, put him down. You can't hold him on your shoulder for too long." But then that was where the most interesting thing happened. They could not drop the man. But they tried and they just couldn't. For some reason, they were hooked on Pericoma, or should I say Pericoma magically jinxed them that they could not drop him. So he was suspended in the air with these two men on his sides holding him up, and he could not come down. They tried and tried and they were getting tired. They could no longer maintain their balance. And the boss was like, what the hell is going on here? Who is this man that you people picked up? Did you even inquire? Did you even know who this man is? Why do you have this man here? let him go. We don't want this kind of trouble here. But Pericoma was like, hey, he was just sitting there. While they held on to him, he refused to come down. So before you know it, crowd gathered. People were watching, because this is something that they don't see all the time. It was like a show. They were in pain. They could not, their body ached. They could not drop this man. They needed help, and they were basically begging the man to please come down. Go home. We don't care about paying tax anymore. Go ahead. But Pericoma was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. So while the crowd gathered, people watched, people were entertained. One man in the midst came up to them. He looked at Pericoma. He said, I think I've seen this man before. I think I've heard about this man. Do you people know who you are holding here? We were like, who is he? Isn't he just an average? Who is he? You seem to know him better. Could you please tell him to come down? It's like, no, you are holding a deity. This man you are carrying is a very, very powerful medicine man in his town. Have you not heard of Pericoma Okoye? How dare you hold on to this man? Are you people not scared? That was when these guys and their boss knew what was happening. That they had just picked up trouble. That they had just picked up a deity. That they had just picked up a spirit in human flesh. So now they had to beg him. They started pleading. They started begging him to come down. Mind you, those guys were still holding on to him. They could not let go. They were tired. They were probably almost passing out. But Pericoma still held on to them. He wouldn't let them go. So now people started begging him. They're begging him, trying to pacify him. You know, the boss of the tax collector boss went and bought a drink, a traditional schnapp, came and was begging him, said, please, we are sorry, please forgive these boys. They did not know who they were messing with. We're sorry, please go home. Pericoma said, well, before I let these boys go, I have only a few demands. People say, please, say whatever you want, we'll make it happen. Whatever is on your mind, please. He said, well, when I was on my way to the bus station, these boys ruffled me up and took some money from my pocket. I need all that money back. And I need it triple. They said, yes, please, we will give it back to you. And then he said, as a deity, almost sitting on the floor, I need something else. I need a chicken to go and appease the gods with. They said, sure, just whatever it is, we'll provide it. He said, I need a bottle of so and so drink to take back to my people and also explain to them what happened, because what you guys did is an abomination. They said, yes, we will do it. Just let the boys go. They said, okay, go and bring a pen and paper and write all these things down so that you will not make any mistake. That was how Pericoma did what he did and stood up. And the boys, when they finally regained their freedom, they nearly passed out. So the story spread like wildfire. And of course, they ended up providing all that he asked for. They packaged everything. They led him to the bus station. They made sure he was comfortable. They almost nearly carried him again into the bus just to be sure that this man and his trouble goes back to wherever he came from. So people, eyewitnesses, people who were there, people who heard of the story, kept spreading it further and further. That was how Chief Pericoma Okoye became very popular. This happened a long time ago in the early 90s. There is no record of time and date that it happened. It's a legend. So the question is, did this incident really happen? I can tell you that if you ask any Igbo person about this story, they're going to tell you that yes, it happened. Even people who were not born when it happened have heard of this story. Maybe it's an urban legend, you know. But then I believe that there's no rumor without an ounce of truth to it. So this story trended far and wide and stirred fear in listeners today. So anyway, Chief Pericoma died on the 16th of February 2017 after battling an illness. So, what a man. That's it for today's story. Please subscribe to my channel to get more stories like this. Don't forget to like this video as well. Thank you for watching and have yourself a good day.